Daily Graphic begins this morning's conversation and says that my government won't shield lawbreakers. President Akufo-Addo assures Ghanaians. The story there, the swearing in of Chief Justice, Leadership Justice, Madam Gloria Sophia Akufu. Then implementation of National Towing Project postponed. Story captured on page 16. And Kwesi Bocho Committee presents report to the NDC. 34,000 driving licenses uncollected. The Ghanaian Times continues a story of the swearing in of Justice Sophia Akufu. She takes office. President administers oath, says she will bring Anna to the judiciary and country. Brohaha forces suspension of National Towing Project, and the driving license story, 34,000 plus yet to be collected. The Daily Guide has the banner story, why NDC lost 2016. Kwesi Bocho report reveals the towing levy suspended story is also here, and we won't protect lawbreakers, the president talking there. The Finder, Nana fires judges, says rulings that have no basis in law or orders without reason are unacceptable. And NDC crowded out intellectuals, Professor Bocho report. Controversial mandatory towing levy suspended. The Statesman says we won't shield lawbreakers. President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo there. And also new Chief Justice will be effective leader. Those are some of the newspapers I have with me this morning. So they're talking, the NPP's National Natural Coordinator is here with me. Kamal Dinabla. Kamal, good morning once again.
Good morning for
yes, his eye is on.
Are you now the moderator of the
No, the pseudo campaigner.
The moderator has chosen. He chose to introduce
his eye is on the seat. Come on, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're doing great.
Bright, how are you?
All right, you're just in the final week.
Yes. We're finishing hard.
Grateful for your time this Tuesday morning.
Yeah, no, we're finishing.
And then a former deputy trade minister under the NDC government, Comrade Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, is also here. Good morning, too.
Good morning. I thought my brother would have, even though he's unsolicited. I mean, I tried to do the campaign for him. He's a nice guy.
You want to become his campaign man?
Yes, I maintained that he may be pushed out. I am very convinced about that.
By who?
But your party.
Why?
It's a nice.
When you have about 455 pages report given to you, telling you why, and I mean why you lost woefully in the 2016 election, you should concern yourself with that.
All right, we'll talk about that later on. Gentlemen, I am grateful for your time this morning. Let's start. Almost every paper in front of me this morning has the Chief Justice swearing in story. The fallout: we won't shield lawbreakers, Nana fires judges, and we won't protect lawbreakers. Daily Guide, Statesman, and Ghanaian Times, the graphic, all of them have the story. But key thing, she's now the Chief Justice. The President spoke at length yesterday and said that his administration won't shield lawbreakers. Come on, let me begin with you. This should be welcoming news for the people of Ghana, particularly those who think that some people engage in crime and put on political colors so that they can go scot-free.
Well, very good morning once again, Bright, and good morning to my brother as well as the viewers out there. To begin with, I would like to say a very big welcome to the IDU executive members who are in the country to assist the New Patriotic Party in organizing
the Institute of Democratic Union.
Of course,
which
Institute of Democratic Union
is right.
We are part of it. Most of the center-right party, we meet annually to jaw and look at the way forward for the world. And this time around, Sub-Saharan Africa, for the first time, Ghana is hosting it at Alabadi Beach. Anyway, I want to wish all participants a very hearty welcome and also say that we wish them well in the two-day meeting that we're going to have. Right. Law breakers, okay, going through the due process of the law and convicted or deemed to appear sane by courts of records be punished. this the president poses yesterday, I could not have agreed with him the more. You know, the point is that we are not in a society where lawlessness is supposed to be seen as part of us. We are in a society where the rule of law must be seen to be working. We must ensure that indeed there's sanity in our system. And that's exactly what the president was drumming home. You know, his point is that let us not sit down to connive with wrongdoers, to connive with lawbreakers, and allow the security of the state to be brought in, you know, question. And I agree with him on that score. But I enjoyed his speech yesterday when, in fact, he was swearing in, after swearing in the new Chief Justice, her leadership, Sophia Akufu. We must congratulate her. She's a woman who has tried so hard to prove to all of us, and in fact, she's proven it, that she is up to the task and can do it. We wish her so well in her new office. Right. Like I said, lawlessness at every point in time is not proper for us as a country and will never be proper. Now, to fight lawlessness in this country, to fight what is corruption as well, to fight what is untoward, we all need to view the law as one and an angle we must all do. But if we invite some amount of partisanship, polarization into it, I'm afraid we're not going to succeed. Be you whatever party you belong to, be you whatever group you belong to, what is important is that we support the state institution. The law enforcement bodies like the police and other security agencies, let's see how we can render support to them. See how we can utilize the Whistleblowers Act. See how we can utilize, channels that, of course, are created for us to ensure that we help them, enhance their work and all that. If we're able to do that as citizens and don't just become spectators, but sit down to watch or be watching how events are churned out, I think we're going to have problems. So by and large, we all must come on board. We all, irrespective of wherever you find yourself, so long as you are Ghanaian, or you are not even a Ghanaian but an inhabitant in Ghana, okay? So long as you are within our jurisdiction, then of course you should be a law-abiding citizen, and you should be someone who will point to the one who is doing the wrong, okay? Point to him or her that, look, whatever you are embarking on is an affront to the law and it's not proper. So for me, I think the president was actually saying what we are all supposed to be doing, and what we are all supposed to be observing, and what we are all supposed to, as it were, push for success of it to happen. So clearly, it's on point and it's proper that we do not countenance any wrongdoing in this country, and we do not
despite who commits
lawbreakers.
The crime or not.
Yes, of course. You see, there are those who say that justice is selective, or they sometimes carrying out, the justice system, or in carrying out the justice system, there's some amount of nepotism, or if you like, favoritism, sin, and therefore selectivity is, as it were, part of the trend. Therefore, there are some other people who, when they commit wrongs, they can go scot-free. And there are some other people who, when they commit wrong, they may not go scot-free. These things have actually always been in the system. But yes, bottom line is, do we have to continue on that tangent? No. Do we have to polarize or appear partisanship when it comes to discussing the rule of law? No. Because the law is no respecter of persons. So for me, I think those who in authority, especially the judiciary, they should ensure that the independence of judiciary is completely, really seen. Because the point is, if we don't have the actual independence of the judiciary, we are going to have problems. So there are concerns, but nonetheless, we'll work towards.
The president is on it. I'm grateful. Comrade, so in upholding the rule of law, the president suggesting that no person, whether you belong to his political party or any other political party, will be shielded when that person goes against the law, is indeed the kind of news you want to hear this morning?
Well, let me say good morning to your cherished viewers, and good morning to you and my good friend and a brother, and of course the good people of Nantong constituency. And once again, urge our brothers and sisters who are observing this holy month of Ramadan in fasting that we are just in the last lap. And I would once again remind everybody that you can pray in any language, but what the Holy Prophet used to pray, you know, seriously at this time was a prayer that was said in Arabic, you know, Allahumma innaka afuwwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni, and once again, which is translated as, Allah, you are the forgiving God, and you forgive, and I pray to you to forgive me. And I think that, like I said last week, that we are not just asking for Allah's forgiveness, we must also forgive people who have indeed done us some wrong. And the urgent thing is that you don't abandon the good manners, the good behavior in this month, and then after the month of Ramadan, you reverse to those things. You would have done nothing to yourself. Let me say that I would want to join my brother in also commending the Chief Justice. I think that is everybody, when she was appointed, even though there were some issues that people raised, however, everybody agreed that she merited it. And I said here that I got to know about her when I was at the law school. That of course you look at her position, her independent position on certain things. And this was also somebody who was appointed by, you know, to the bar, by the NDC, that is under former President Rawlings. And then it means that she's been able to work with all regimes. It doesn't matter, at least as far as the Fourth Republican Constitution is concerned. We expect her to demonstrate that independence. We expect her to demonstrate that calmness. We expect her to be a fair and impartial arbiter when it comes to dispensing justice, because people go to the justice or the judiciary for fairness, for justice to be done. And justice must not just be done, it must be seen to be done. And I think that that is the expectation of the people of this country from her. But as to the story His Excellency the President said, I think that he can say that to the Marines. And I'm saying this with all sincerity and with some justification. You have a president who would come out and preach one thing, yet you have goons and demagogues who are trained, financed, and aided by his own government to embark on lawlessness, and nothing is being done about it. And I'll give a classical example. You have the same president who went to Kumasi, met the Asentihene. When he met the Asentihene, he assured him that they were going to ensure that justice was done. And it was in the wake of his own appointee, the regional security coordinator, who was manhandled, and this was captured on TV. What did we see, Bright? Perhaps the president didn't even reach Accra when they went to no less a place, danned the court, and then virtually verbally killed a judge. But for the intervention of the security agencies, but for the intervention of the police, something would have happened. This thing has never happened anywhere in the world. It's not about Ghana. It has never happened anywhere. Again, you have members of his own government who, in fact, members of parliament who serve in his government, and by the way, a very good friend of the president, who comes out and praise the people for engaging in such lawlessness. You have a general secretary, acting secretary of the same party, who comes out and says that they will do nothing to that group. They are members of the party. So that is why I say he should say that to the Marines, because you cannot preach one thing and then engage in another. It is very, very important that if you want to preach, you see, when you want to preach peace, you must be seen demonstrating peace. And I said here one thing, and I'll say it again. The Gumbes have a proverb, if the chief comes home with a weird haircut, what do you expect his subjects to do? They'll come home with all manner of haircuts. So let us see the president himself and his government demonstrating it. In fact, we are in a total and an absolute mess. There is absolute lawlessness in this country, that people can engage in any acts without any fear. You have MPP brigandage groups who are going seizing people's vehicles. We haven't had anybody condemned that act. And by the way, all the people whose vehicles they seize, they return those vehicles and have to apologize. We have MPP groups. If you go to Agbogbulushi, that is where they call the Konkumba market. You have people who were sitting there, people who came to Accra from all parts of the country to look for livelihood. Now go there, every single member of NDC or a known NDC people who were living there were chased out. Some were actually beaten and some were killed. Some were killed. I'm saying that these people do that, and then you come out and tell me that you won't spare anybody. And by the way, people must be arrested and people must be prosecuted, but the arrest and the interest, the zeal and the willingness to prosecute comes from the executive arm. Now,
that's the police service.
Yes, I'm saying
the person has not stopped the police service from arresting anybody.
The police service. Why? We live in this country. If the Minister for Justice and Attorney General is unwilling to prosecute, you would lament, you would express your frustrations.
Comment, where is the AG unwilling to prosecute?
Why? We live in this country where they send people to court, and with the expertise and the capacities of the AG's office, they send people to court and they prefer charges that they know that those charges won't move anywhere. Let me give you a classical example. I'll give you a classical example.
That's an allegation.
No, I'll give you a classical example.
Oh, no.
You have people who went to a court in Kumasi, disrupted everything, threatened the judge of that court. Those people, the security agencies who were supposed to arrest, they went and arrested who they wanted to arrest, only God knows. They brought those people, and knowing very well that the people they brought wouldn't be captured even if you want to use the video evidence. They wouldn't be captured there. These were people, after they did that, they spoke on radio, and they boasted their leadership of the Delta Force. Not one of those who spoke on radio was arrested. Now, at the end of the day, if you just go and pick me and send me to court for prosecution, that I wasn't there, or I can be captured on the footage that is going around that indeed heightened the anger of the Ghanaian people, why do you think I would take you serious? They know those who spoke on radio. They know the very people Honorable Kennedy Japan was urging. And he said that they used those people. Why didn't they go and arrest the very people who spoke on radio, vaunted about their resolute to stand firm on the so-called Delta Force? Then you come and tell us that you wouldn't spare anybody. Tell that to the Marines.
Right.
Come in.
Oh, you have a question?
No, go on.
Go ahead. Okay, fine. I think it's interesting this morning listening to Mutala.
It has always been interesting listening to me.
He set off by saying that, in fact, he got to know a lot about our new Chief Justice when he was in the law school. I want to believe that someone who's gone through the legal studies has respect at least for due process of the law and would always sit anywhere to espouse that. Now you sit down and tell the whole world that justice should not just be done, but must be seen to be done. And of course, I'm happy that he belongs to a fraternity, even though not yet a lawyer, but of course, he's halfway through. And he belongs to that fraternity. And he knows very well that without proper evidence, without due process, okay, without recourse to the procedure that is laid down, you cannot just get up and then incarcerate a person. We don't do that. So you see, the law is different from pushing your emotions through. It's completely different. When we say rule of law, that is why the lawyers will tell you, or people in the justice system will tell you, that it is better to free several criminals than to incarcerate an innocent person. And with recourse to Article 19 of our Constitution, it tells you how procedure must be duly followed in terms of criminal offenses. Now you sit here and say that because the Delta forces were cited, at a point there was a nulli prosequi filed, and you could not continue with the case, that is not proper. I ask a simple question. The process of even filing a nulli prosequi, is it part of the legal fraternity process or not? Or the legal process or not? It is. So when we say rule of law, you don't go select or do cherry picking. You don't go say because this is not done, that is not rule of law, or that is rule of law, or that is done, that's rule of law. Basically, it must be holistic. And it must be something agreed to us by all. Now, if you have a problem that the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party acting, John Boydu, sat somewhere and said that these are people who are guys who belong to the party and they're members of the party, and he won't sit anywhere to disown them.
I think he means the Deputy General.
John said it.
Okay.
I said it myself.
Okay.
I said it. Obribwahi said it. Today, as we sit, nobody can tell us that these boys who we know as members of our party do not belong to the party. It is different from saying that when they go and commit any wrong or commit any crime, they should be left off the hook. We never said so.
So for you, the processes were
followed, and we are on.
The legal
so where is the blame? Now, point is, again, he talks about Agbogbloshie. I mean, with all respect to my brothers in Agbogbloshie this morning, I'm not to sit here to remind them of what happened in 2008 or 2009. People were killed, maimed, when they won power. He killed people, and with all respect to them, I'm not reminding them of it. That is why I set about saying that let us not polarize this matter. Issues of rule of law must be viewed as a national issue. Tomorrow you could be in government. Tomorrow another party may be in government. We are in government today. Now, if we don't look at it with that spectacle, and we want to say that, look, because it's coming from the president of the day, and the president of the day was sponsored by a political party like MPP, to be voted for by Ghanaians. So whatever he says should be thrown away. Tomorrow that will happen. And that is why I'm citing what happened in Agbogbloshie. You killed people. NDC, but you did that.
Come on.
Your supporters killed people in Agbogbloshie.
You said, I don't want us to go back. Yes,
not a single person was arrested. Not one person was arrested and put before even the
okay, I don't want us to go back to that. Let's I think your point is made. Come on, I think your point is made that the processes were taken through. Come and wrap up just 1 minute and let's move on to this story.
On a more serious note, I have never questioned due processes. Maybe he wasn't listening.
I was listening to you.
Oh, can I?
I was listening to you.
Okay, come on, ask him. Allow him to finish. And then you need to come in.
You see, the difference between myself and Kamal is that whereas I can help it, he cannot.
Look at you. What can you help?
Oh, please. I listen to you. So just have the patience and listen to me. I never questioned due process. I questioned the fraud in that due process.
Oh, really?
Yes, the fraud in that due process. That was what I questioned. I questioned about the fact that after the incident of the molestation of the very person who was appointed by the president, you had individuals, known party demagogues, who came on radio and boasted that yes, we did that and nothing will happen to us. And now only for those people to go to the court, and indeed, this was an attack on the judiciary, this was an attack on constitutionalism, this was an attack on liberal democracy that you profess to. This was an attack on our democratic principles that those people did, that when you were going to pick people, you pick people who were not even captured in video. Brad, he has spoken a lot, and just let me respond.
No, wrap up. I think, you've made your point. So come in, you have made your point.
So I have some few words.
So wrap up. Just 30 seconds.
You know,
wrap up.
Let's move on. They get uncomfortable. I'm saying that. That is the question. 2, we live in this country where you have the same very president who indeed assured no less a person than the Asiedu-Dartey that I would ensure that those who engage in ABC they are dealt with, only for him to get to Accra. And you have a member of parliament who sat on national television threatening everybody, including the president, except himself.
By your interpretation.
That nothing should be happened to them. And as we see today, nothing. By the way, Nole Prosequa is not an acquittal.
It's not.
It's not. I'm saying that when you came up with that Nole Prosequa, because I talked about the fraud in the processes of even ensuring that the prosecution was done. Now, you should have evidence. Now, Nole Prosequa didn't prevent you from arresting the very people who engage in it. Since you went in for that Nole Prosequa, how many weeks or months today? No action. You have demonstrated unwillingness.
Hasn't the police taken over this? Is that not the rule of law?
Please, the police were standing, captured on TV, when people were, when the regional coordinating that, the person who was appointed by the president himself was molested. Right. So please, I am saying that that story should be told to the Marines.
Okay.
There is no commitment, there is no willingness to prosecute people who engage in that. By the way, he talked about Gbugulushi. Did we go or did we come?
I'm not going back.
If people did that, did we go or did we come?
No, yes, I did.
Please, I am saying that.
I am not.
I expected you guys to grow up.
Then you should.
Now, if they did that, yes, you shouldn't do that.
Cite that
okay, all right.
If they did that,
I am grateful. I am grateful. Let's move on. No, come on. I have dropped this issue.
Let me just
I'm going to the Daily Graphic. There's implementation of the National Towing Project, which has been postponed. Daily Graphic has a story. Daily Guide has it too. I think the Statesman and other papers have the story too. The story says the government has directed that the implementation of the national mandatory towing levy should be put on hold in view of the furore that has greeted it in recent times. Now, the press release signed by the sector minister, Kweku Ofori-Siama, pointed out that it had been had been following the ongoing discussions in the media ahead of the implementation on 1st July. It said it wanted to further address certain concerns regarding the quantum of road safety fees fixed by Parliament, the mandatory nature of the project, extent of sensitization of the project, as well as concerns of monopoly, among others. So what was to have taken place on July 1st is suspended for now. And those are the reasons. To check the fee, the mandatory nature, and then, in fact, put in more education. Kamal, let me start once again with you. This is government's position on it. Some have said that it's a good thing because we keep our roads safe. Others think that not enough consultation. But if government decides to halt a project like that, some seem to suggest that, well, we might not be doing the right thing by halting the project.
Why? You see, they say justice emanates from the people. Is that not right?
Right.
And belongs to the people. Sovereignty is same. The nation Ghana belongs to the people of Ghana, not just an individual. So that when you come out with a policy and you are a listening leader, then the people on the ground say, look, we have not been consulted enough, we have not been spoken to enough, we have not been educated enough, therefore, we need much clarity to this policy you are bringing. Then the government goes back, or the minister goes back to say, look, wait a minute, let me suspend this, let's do the right thing. First of all, I would like to commend the minister for what he did. It's not really easy to do that. And I must say this before I even go ahead on this matter. This law, which is imposing this mandatory fee or towing fee, is not coming from this government anyway. It was enacted or it was passed in 2012 when this government was not in power. That's what we should put on record.
Does it change the law?
It doesn't change it. It doesn't change it. No, I'm building a point. I just want all of us to understand. Again, the implementation of SAME is, of course, being pushed today by the minister that we have. Okay? Now, and it's creating a whole lot of, noise in the system. The drivers are not so happy. In fact, people who own motor vehicles are not also so happy, because if I have a motorbike, my motorbike, I'm mandated, or it is mandatory on me to go and pay 10 Ghana cedis as towing fee. You understand? I hear articulators pay about, huge trucks, pay about, heavy trucks, I should say, pay about 100 Ghana cedis. We have other vehicles that pay 50 Ghana and all that. Now, drivers come out to say, look, we are already burdened by so many, if you like, taxes or fees or whatever that we have to pay. And you are adding more to us again. I think we should look at it again.
Is that what government is scared of?
Government is not just, government is not scared of that.
It's imposing more levies.
It's a listening government. And this is not the first time we're having this happening in this country. It is showing that we are a listening government. We need to go back to drawing board, look at how the implementation of that will be done. Then, of course, if the need be for us to get back to Parliament for a review or to relook at the law, why not? We have to do that. Because it's good governance. It's about the people feeling it. It's about the people, of course, being part of it. So for me, I think if the minister didn't do broad consultation before the implementation, and is the reason why they would have to suspend it for now and do better job on it, then go ahead with the implementation, so be it. It's fine. I don't have a problem. Okay? Now, if you want to say, look, let's push it down the throat of the people, let's force them to pay, you would not be doing yourself a good, service. Neither would you be doing a good service to the people as well. So for me, I think I commend the minister for the position they have taken now. They should look at it, engage all stakeholders who are supposed to be part of this, let them reach a consensus, agree on what to do, then they can move on. But we don't just get up and do things that would affect us. It will not fly. And
is safety on our roads not a priority?
It is a priority.
Is this not about the risk we all face on the road and not those who own vehicles?
There is nowhere in the world.
Because if a I'm asking you this because if a motorbike owner would say that because I can tow my motorbike myself, I really don't care about a broken down car on the road. It could be his grandmother, his grandfather, his uncle who's driving on that road and crashes into a stationary vehicle.
That's why I said if they engage the stakeholders again or once again, I don't know how the engagement actual process went in the beginning, but if they should do a proper job again, engage the entire stakeholders. Don't forget that it's not only GPRTU that we have today.
Right.
We have other transport unions who are out there. Some might not even be registered, but yet, of course, by our own constitution, it tells us that you have the right to to association and all that. Some of them might have even formed themselves or put themselves in a group, but yet to be registered and all that. These are also critical stakeholders once they're in the country. They're pressure groups. Get them on board. Talk to them. Now, my point here is that if there are arguments that, look, I have my vehicle broken down on the road, and I can go tow it or get a towing vehicle to tow, why can't the law look at time frame? Say that if you have a vehicle broken down on the main street of TV3, for instance, we're giving you 2 hours or 3 hours. Otherwise, if after 3 hours or after 5 hours is towed by a national towing, as it were, outfit, then you have this penalty to pay to that, or you have this amount to pay. Can't we do that?
I see.
Can't we look at it? There are other school of thought who say that, look, the amount is so much, or the amount of money you are charging for them to serve as a mandatory fee is so much. Are you going to look at the fees and all that? I mean, let's open the subject matter for discussion.
Kamal,
and let's get to where we want to get to. But I commend the
right. Is it a nation on the part of government or not?
Well, let me say that Kamal tried to tell people that, yes, this government is a listening government.
It is.
And yes, Kamal, I beg you, just listen to me, I listen to you. That this government is a listening government, and that is why when Ghanaians express concerns about the fact that they were not that involved, and of course, in fact, part of the principles of good governance is participation, and for which reason it's been suspended. I thought they would have suspended the dubious 2.25 billion, bond. In fact, the Minister for Justice and Attorney General said she wasn't aware. Your minister, the legal advisor of the president. Please, can I? Please, I'm saying that. Kamal, I beg you. Now, if you are saying that it's a listening government, that involves huge sums of money. It wasn't just Ghanaians who were angry about it. A Minister for Justice, the legal advisor of the president himself, said that she wasn't aware, even at the time when the bond was issued. So it's once again the cherry picking he's talking about. Now, there are other concerns that people have expressed, and they have zeroed it to the person who is in charge of this. And they say Zoom Lion. And then Kamal says that, oh, this thing was done by the
private partner.
Yes, this thing was done by signed by the previous administration. Of course, Zoom Lion was not created under the NDC.
Law. I refer to the
yes,
law,
that's what I'm saying.
Not the contract.
You said the law, yes, if the law was done and also the discussions and everything.
Not the contractual agreement.
I agree.
I'm talking about the law.
I agree, which was passed by Parliament. That's what I'm saying. Now, I'm saying that the Zoom Lion was not created by the NDC administration. It was created under the NPP. It has worked through the NPP, and it has worked through the NDC. I think that we should focus on whether they have the capacity to do it. Kamal talked about the fact that they can give people, number of hours, within which if you fail to tow your vehicle, which is broken on the road, then the national towing. We don't have, I don't think we have any national towing.
No, I'm not.
I'm coming. I'm saying that has occasioned some of these issues. I am aware of this particular thing, and I remember when we were in government, there were a lot of discussions that went on. I remember I represented my minister in some of the meetings on the issues of this. I think it was about the the divestiture, something like that. I can't quite remember, you know, that I represent. And this thing featured in. I asked some of those questions. I asked the questions why they would want to give it to a private entity. The road safety, their position was that they didn't have the money to do that. They didn't have the capacity to. So if they have a private entity who has the capacity to pump in such huge sums of money into it, there was another issue that was raised. Why must it be given to just one particular private person?
One private madam,
why not
85%?
Now, the argument that was made, and I believe which makes a lot of sense, is that those private entities for whom you think that they should also participate in this, they are not ready and they will not be pumping in the money that we are willing to pump into this. So you have that company that was willing to pump in several millions of cedis, if not dollars, to kickstart this. Now, will it be fair that you make it very open when indeed I spent a lot of money in ensuring that this thing kickstarted? That wouldn't be fair on that particular private entity too. And I think that that is another issue. Now, there have been a lot of concerns that have been raised. On my way, I listened to a radio station that says that, oh, we'll be discussing a lot. We will discuss why this thing was suspended and why the former president, in fact, it was on Joy FM. I believe it will be going on now.
Okay.
No, please.
Yes,
this is a public statement that was made.
They are not here to,
please,
so
it's a public statement and I can make reference to that.
Right.
I listened to it on my way. That they will discuss that they have information, recording where the former president made mention about the execution of this project. And they will find out why Japan had that close relationship with the former president. I said, wait a minute. Is that how our journalism has been reduced to? Now, if you have a government who comes to power, and you have private entity that was not created under his administration, created under the previous administration, who did well with that previous administration, and that same person wants to do business with the current government, must you say, because it was created by the previous administration, I wouldn't want to have any business doing with you. And I think that it will be defeating the purpose for which this country is indeed yearning to develop. And I think I had a very big problem with that. And I'm bringing this issue because if you listen to the discourse, the argument is that why would you give it to this same person? You go to social media, you have a lot of people who have written a lot. Let's begin asking ourselves, will they have the capacity to do it? If there are certain issues like he raised, that we need to look at the pricing, we need to look at some of those issues, let's look at them. But the idea that because there is a particular private entity that is executing it, I have a problem with it, and I don't think that that is how you build a nation. No, I'm not making reference to you. I'm making reference to the discourse. This thing has been lingering on.
Right.
So if the minister is suspending it, well and good. Suspension doesn't mean that they are taking it off. Let's get involved all the various stakeholders. Let's see how best we can iron this thing out and have it executed. By the way, let's find out the number of accidents and fatalities that we have had in this country.
No, that is justified.
I'm coming. The number of accidents and fatalities that we have had that are occasioned by broken vehicles on the road. And I think that by now, I was expecting the journalists to have told us that, look, this year, or the past 5 years, we have these recorded accidents on our roads. Out of the recorded accidents, this percentage or this number was due to broken vehicles on the road.
Right.
Now you look at the lives that are lost. 2, when those vehicles are broken down on the road, we do know that people come to fix the vehicles on the road. Oil spilled on the road, and we are told the bitumen, I mean the oil is also part of the things that destroys what? The roads. That is another issue. 2, are we also looking at the number of jobs that this particular partnership can create? But frankly speaking, and to be very sincere, I have my strong positions against Zoom Lion and some of the things that he engages in. But to be very honest, that if the Kondong, what's the name of Kondong in
the hyena.
Is it a hyena?
I think it's a
hyena. The Gomez have a proverb. I think
it's a hyena, yeah.
You see, that animal that takes goats in olden Nagba, it kills goats. And that if that particular animal has some rights, I mean, give it to it and let it run into the bush.
Okay.
So we must not be having problems with it because there is an individual who engages in a lot of entrepreneurship and businesses. And we think that he's monopolizing. Let's begin asking questions. Will it be feasible? Will it be better for this country? Would it also help to reduce this?
Right.
If the pricing is huge, can we
slash it?
Take a second look at the price? And I think that that is the way.
Okay,
right.
30 seconds, because let's talk about the NDC.
We are on the same page, myself and
exactly.
on this matter. Except to add that he says a government created a private enterprise.
No, but I corrected myself. I said it was created.
No, government doesn't create private.
No,
enterprise.
please.
Okay.
I'm sure.
He just said he's.
I'm sure.
Let's
No, but you don't. I was listening to you. 10 minutes. You just mentioned earlier on. I was listening to.
It was created by the government, under the government.
Come again.
The report landed. Okay.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to put on record that we never created Zoom.
Let's send to the NDC.
Zoom is a private entity. It remains safe.
Let's send to the NDC report. Almost every paper has it, but we're told that that report of the long wait has been sent to the party by the Dr. Kwesi Boche committee. Some recommendations were made, and so that's the story so far. Comrade, starting with you. So at least now the NDC knows why it lost the elections and recommendations made to turn the fortunes of the party around. How did the party receive this report?
Well, first and foremost, let me say that there have been a lot of lies that have been peddled out. If you take the banner headline of the finder, we know who owns the finder and we know his political lineage. He's an in and out MPP person, so it's understandable. Now, you have a lot of other media houses who have peddled a lot of falsehood as to the items, the 8 items that were enumerated. By the way, this is not the first time that you haven't done. Every serious political party, if you go into an elections and you lost the elections or you won the elections, you would have to do an internal introspection. And you do that either by research, you do that by even survey, you do that by a committee's work to ascertain why you lost the elections and why you won the elections. NPP, even though they won the 2016 elections, there is something that is being done to find out why they won and possibly to see how they strategize getting into the 2020 elections. And in the press conference they held, they indicated that in 1992, when the NPP lost the elections, by the way, and ruled a stolen verdict, you remember they had to do something to find out why they lost. In 1996, when they lost elections, they did that. In 2000, when NDC lost elections, NDC did that. So every serious political party, you ought to do that. As we sit today, the Labour Party, when they lost the elections under Gordon Brown, they did a lot of surveys to ascertain why they lost. Even when we went for Brexit in the United Kingdom, and they had the Brexit, there were those who were for in and those who were for out. They tried to find out what influenced the unexpected results that indeed was handed to the British people, the European Union, and the entire international community. As we see today, the Democratic Party in the the Democrats in the United States of America, indeed, they are trying to find out why Hillary Clinton lost the elections, even though she won in terms of popular vote, almost 3 million or more. They want to find out. So it is not out of ordinary that any political party, if you lose, you do that. But by the way, all the political parties who have indeed conducted such researches or committees work, they do not put public what they have because it tells you your strategy.
So NDC will do same.
I'm coming. Yes, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense putting out your strategy. But let me say that falsehood that is being peddled out there, which is captured and finds its way in some spaces of newspapers, that the NDC was crowded out. I think that, and when this falsehood is unfortunately also being peddled by our brothers who are engaged in fasting when they are encouraged to be very sincere and honest, it is extremely worrying. And I would want to just read. Now, if you look at item number 6, what it says is that we recommend that, please,
come on, because we're run out of time.
We recommend that steps we recommend that steps ought to be taken to strengthen research and intelligence in the party, to strengthen the intelligence. This should involve crowding in, not that we're crowded out, crowding in a larger body of party intellectual base which has not been particularly active in the past. It means that they were not. Please, I'm coming.
Why do you want to crowd them?
No. I'll come. This would help. Why? There are a lot of intellectual people who were not engaged in NDC's campaign. There are a lot of sympathizers who have the capacity. There are politicians like myself and he who are politicians. We are into politics. We are into the business of politics. But there are a lot of sympathizers who have the intellectual capacity, the intellectual base, who would have indeed brought those capacities and assistance to bear in the party. And they said that they were not active. So it isn't that we're crowded out. Now, if you turn around and you tell me that the NDC was crowded out, I just watched a video where you have the Minister of Finance who said, please.
Comment. No, wait. Comment. Now, these recommendations are these what would turn the fortunes of the NDC?
If you look at you see, Bright. If we had won the 2016 elections, I am telling you, the things we are seeing as the weaknesses and the reasons why we lost the elections would have been the things we would have been hailing as the strength with which we won the elections. Every single planning student at KNUST, whether at the undergraduate level or postgraduate level, you do what we call problem tree. And the problem tree is that you can identify problems and you turn them to what? To objectives. You can turn them to solutions. Now, if we have the strategies that we use, we went into an elections where President Mahama campaigned for less than 6 months, won an elections which we touted and praised, yet we went into an elections where indeed President Mahama had a very long time to contest and campaign for the elections we lost. What we need to do first and foremost, and I said it here, that we must all take responsibility. I sit here and I say, you remember when I lost the election, I said, look, my defeat to a very large extent in my constituency was internally inflicted, not on the strength of NPP. Because, right, I cannot, if you take 2012 and 2016 elections in Nantong constituency, there is no any polling stations my vote didn't increase. But I know why I lost. I didn't lose because the MPP had the capacity. I lost because internally, within and outside the constituency. And
that's what the party has
now,
to claim.
If you look at the registration, the expansion, of the electoral college was also a factor, and it has been indicated that we need to take a second look at how it was to ensure that the credibility of that is done. There were a lot of people who genuinely, their names were taken out, and in every process, even electoral commission, when they do registration, people could have their names out. People were angry, people were not involved, and in fact, we cannot run away from the fact that there were other people who became extremely insulated from the hardcore. We are a social democratic party, we are center-left, we are not center-right, and we must stop pretending as though we are center-right. Bright, last point before my brother comes.
5 seconds.
Every single elections in this country is campaigned on the basis of certain principles. And the most outstanding of all, at least the 4th Republican Constitution, and even democratic, the military takeovers that we have had in this country, corruption has been used as a basis. Now, if in 2000 elections, NDC lost the elections on the basis of corruption, 2008, we won the elections on. And that is why I asked myself, did we go or did we come? This is a self-introspection, and I have no doubt in mind. The mess with which the people of this country are indeed witnessing the NDC, we need to galvanize forces and put aside factional differences. We will come back to power, inshallah, in 2020.
Comrade Ibrahim Mutalamam, I'm grateful. Come on. So
right.
the party has recommendations to move it from where it is now. These recommendations, what will be your first reaction to them?
First reaction is that the demographic profile of this country in terms of politicking has changed. And they never knew that by their own report. They didn't look at the demographic profile. By the pointers you
come on, don't get distracted.
You understand?
Please go on.
Now, that is one. Their own report says that they did not engage the youth of this country at all, and that they should look at that. Their own report says that their system is not credible. The integrity of their system is in question.
Which system?
Oh, I don't know your system, but they are saying it.
No, you can't.
Go check it. They say the integrity of your own biometric system within
the
is
voters
problematic.
register and the system of
resource
collation
says has no integrity. That's the word they use.
No, they didn't.
No, read it. I read it.
Which item?
Point 2.
Okay. Can I read?
Read point 2. Go ahead.
The party takes. Oh, can I read it, please? The party takes steps to restore the integrity of the
Please. I've read it. It's all right. That's okay. Let me go ahead. You have your time.
Okay.
Please, let me go ahead. Let me go ahead.
I just
wanted to question the usage of the word integrity.
No.
You can't do this. No.
Come on, please go.
The contributory report says that their own system is not credible.
It's the biometric.
And that they should look at it.
It's the biometric.
Now, you see, I'm happy that today they have had to come out to eat humble pie to say that, look, indeed, when their leader then said he was riding on a very lame horse this report is pointing.
He never
to
said
say.
that.
He said so.
How?
He said the NDC was like a lame horse.
No, he never said that.
Comrade, you're disrupting.
No, he's
when their leader came out to say that he was riding a lame horse, this report has come out to corroborate that point.
You are first.
This report has also come to corroborate the point made in WA by the founder of NDC, that corruption, greed. In fact, even my own brother sat here and said within, machinations within got him to lose his own.
Yeah, but it happens in every.
It means that the greed and corruption, the greed within and the greed to Ghanaians cause your defeat. So you see, I want them to go back to the drawing board, put themselves together, appear a very responsible and effective opposition party, and try to criticize constructively and make sure that indeed they give this government that kind of criticism that we need to shaping the affairs of this country or this nation. No doubt, the leader we have today, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, is instilling hope in every single Ghanaian.
In fact, despondency,
the leader we have today is making sure that the economic systems that we're putting in place to make Ghana working again or get Ghana working again is put in place. The leader we have today, which we discussed earlier on, has said that not even his wife will be shielded when it comes to matters of corruption. So clearly Ghanaians are aware. And I can tell you, elements of NDC, foundation members of NDC, have had cause to tell us that, look, the kind of corruption...
Who are the foundation members?
Why? He says that, look, never again should we have a leader like John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency. Then never again should we have. Their own founder will tell you that over 60% of the people they brought out to govern this country were thieves. I mean, so Ghanaians have finally understood that, look, these people have nothing to offer us, and we have to change them. They change them, and inshallah, 5 months into government, or going to 6 months, we have proven that indeed we are up to the task, and we are going to make sure that Ghana will work again.
All right, I agree with his logic. Whatever former President Rollins says should be taken
as Let's take some messages from...
Did you hear what he said?
Johnny is here. Look, yes, some messages have come in.
What former President Rollins said?
Good morning once again. Some messages.
Interesting, heated conversation. And it says, hello, good morning, New Day. Uncle Johnny and Father Bright, your hard work has proved that this job was destined for you. I've made me realize that I've made the right decision by delegating these words to you. Well done. It says is our #1 fan, Felix Shine Sapien. Says, thanks for the wonderful work done. Sorry, but I disagree with your take on the toll levy. The proper way should be that for anyone who has his or her vehicle broken down, the car should be towed to a yard where the owner has 3 months to pay for it and take it. Failure to do so, that's a penalty of paying 2 times the fee. Then at 6 months, the car can be auctioned. This is the module used in the most European countries. Good morning and have a great day. Ransford Addo send that one. Good morning, TV3. You guys are looking good. Please, I think our leaders are lacking knowledge and we need to pray for them. Ghana by Keban Inagona Mesakrome. Good morning, TV3. In the case of the towing levy, what do you say about some car owners whose car insurance premiums includes car towing? Government cannot be trusted with this money. Before you realize the money will be diverted into other things. Lessons can be learned from the toll debt recovery levy, road fund, health insurance levy, etc. In my humble opinion, they let our car insurance capture it. And Prince Ali in Tamale. And Mr. Kamaldeen Abdullahi, your submissions are well articulated and factually accurate. You're making my day a joyous one, sir. I owe you a guinea fowl from...
really? The guinea
fowl? From chicken to guinea fowl. Good morning, really? I want to ask Mr. Mutala, what are you still doing in Accra? Come home and stop talking about what and what. And good morning, TV3. Honorable Mutala should remember that the Agbobloshi issue happened in 2009 in the full glow of the Ghana police. So it
must happen again.
Agbobloshi.
Are you growing or you are not growing?
No arrest was done. Please, he should also tell this to the Marines. And people were killed in broad daylight in the presence of the police, and properties were auctioned, and some were for free, and no one from the NDC government says anything, let alone was anyone arrested. AU Farouk in Tamale says, good morning. The leadership of our party, the NDC, must follow the 8 recommendations by the report, the Kwesipocho report, and the committee of same. The future of the NDC is bright to win the 2020 elections. Say the future is bright. Good morning to you, your panelists and viewers. I wish the youth of the NDC communication be like Murtala and Felix, and so should well, they should not fear themselves and stop attacking Ado. Instead, you say, well, Justice Safaya Akufu, there's no Ado, I beg your pardon to her name, is a competent woman, and I am more than confident she will bring honor to the judiciary. I am for John Boydu, Samia Wuku, and Dominic Eja, Frederick Kuma in Wasekropon. Come on, I didn't see your name in there. My government would shield lawbreakers. This call is in the right direction, which means the president has thrown the challenge to the police. The police must step up their game for the public to have confidence in them. Hello, Richard in Akachi. Kwesibotri report. Why is the NDC fighting back for power? Ghanaians voted for change. Let us enjoy the change. Pride and money making cost their defeat. Hello, Richard and Akachi fires back. And good morning, Bright and your guests. Good discussion by your panelists. But Murtala should use his experience to calm down Felix Kwachi and the manner he arrogantly talks on both radio and TV from Gonja in Kumasi. Good morning to Ghana, my incoming National Youth Organizer of the MPP. NDC report on the electoral defeat is out, but they will still fail if people like Honorable Murtala can't see why he failed and his party. I want to see 110 pages on arrogance. Well, you said so. I don't know where you're bringing this from. And Hadi in Tamale, I think the Minister for Transport knows what he is doing. So let's just cooperate. Safe journey to my mom, Rita Oseibu. So rest in peace, Perry Kumas. Well, good morning, Bright. Tell Kamal to listen to his boss to school him and stop the buga politics and realize that he is not in the MPP meeting where lawlessness always exists. Bright, in any case, we should take this NPP president serious. Comrade is right. He should tell that to the Marais. Why are we not in this country? Why are we not in this country when policemen was maltreated right in front of him? What has happened to those barbarians who drove out the security coordinator from his office? He should stop joking and be serious. Aristotle, I'm talking about DSP and Anka Bruce. I want to ask Kamal, why did his government want to pass this towing law, which was passed by the NDC government, but refused to continue with the good contracts and appointments that were signed by the same NDC government? And we should stop politicizing issues and be very objective. The toll is a good policy and should include road tolls as well. Good morning, TV3. Every president has his weakness. The weakness of Nana Ado's administration is the lawlessness. But he has assured us that he will not shield anyone who perpetrates such acts. Soon, it will be a thing of the past from who doing what. Is that a president's weakness?
No, he has a lot of weaknesses.
President Akufo-Addo should not deceive Ghanaians. He should first start from the presidency, where a senior police officer was assaulted by one of the invisible forces in broad daylight and is walking a free man from Yamoha in Wa. The NDC talks too much. This attitude sent them to opposition. They destroyed the economy, misbehaved when in power, and now in opposition still talking, criticizing people all over. The Nana Ado-led government and the MPP will deliver. Ghanaians supports the government and will help them succeed. Samish from Castland City in Accra. And God bless Murtala Mohammed. Amen. So don't talk too much about lawlessness. The good people of Ghana are watching all what the NPP are doing. December 7, 2020 is at the corner. Sapa Shini Yendi. Patrick Achu from Tema says, Madam Sofa Akufu has more work to accomplish. New Day hashtag, good morning, Bright. I think the president doesn't walk the talk. He says all the good and fine things, but does absolutely zero on the ground. The MPP foot soldiers will continue to do what they know best, as well as they have some big wigs within the party supporting them. I'm scared under this government because the president appears helpless regards to security. Abbas Haruna from Kumewen, from Nuhu Tamale, he says, Murtala, you will soon shut up when the special prosecutor is initiated because you were part of the rot and Sada.
That's a good one.
Good morning, TV3. Nana Ado is again promising to fight corruption. Good, but he must start with the dubious 2.2 million from Osman Buku in Tamale. Finally, he says the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. This is the president. the toothless talk is enough. Now action. Charity begins at home, Mr. President. Ayeko Asari Senda. Good morning, Mr. Host. Tell the NDC man that the most Ghanaians have now realized that the party that can send them to the promised land is the NPP. So he should hold his breath. Sule Tamale. Right. The good news. This is the good news. Come out. Yeah. Your name was not in the list.
Really?
Yes.
He's been crowded out. My name will always remain on the list. My name will always remain on the list, and in fact, at 4.
No, he's been crowded out. He's been crowded out. I said it here.
In fact,
I said it here. This is the guy they need as the Asiedu-Dartey. I'm telling you, I said it here. He was supposed to be made the High Board. Can you imagine?
Why?
No, please. Can you imagine a Nasarawa Club president, High Board, and they have given, of course, they've given it to my father. I mean, I dare not say something, but I'm just saying that he knows why he didn't get it. He knows the reason.
Okay.
He was crowded out.
There's no reason.
Oh, you were crowded out. That's a fact.
All right.
I stated emphatically that I wanted to remain in the party, to work for the party, to consolidate our case. And I've said so. That's the reason.
Okay.
And that is the reason. That remains the reason.
Look at the number, the names of those who are contesting for positions in the MPP. He tells me that their party is a broad-based party. It's not.
A brother fighting for a brother's cause. Gentlemen, I'm grateful for your Tuesday morning. Comrade Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed is a former deputy trade minister, member of the NDC. Kamadin Abdullah is NPP's national coordinator. He's still eyeing the youth organizer position. And we'll lend him all our support.
Inshallah.
Yes, it will come to pass.
I am grateful. He's going to be put to shame. He's going to be put to shame.
And of course, those of you who stayed out there to be part of the show, we're grateful for your time too. Up next, we have sports.